kind of getting a warm Sunday morning here. I'm Dr. Shivendra Alapati. I'm a consultant surgical oncologist at MNJ Cancer Hospital. It's a regional cancer center located Hyderabad based. So here we're going to talk a bit, not a bit, actually, the entire session today is just about breast.
शिवेंद्र अल्लापट्टी
Yeah, please tell me, sir.
शिवेंद्र अल्लापट्टी कंसल्टेंट सर्जिकल ऑन्कोलॉजिस्ट वो पढ़ाए रहे अल्लापट्टी
I want people to mute themselves.
I request all the students to please mute their mics.
So we are discussing about breast on the general surgery perspective with focus on MCH entrance, general surgery, a little bit on surgical oncology as well. And also, more important than that is for the exam going guys, the people who are going to give their MS exam. So basically, this entire discussion is about breast today. And typically, when you see the questions in the breast over the last few years, if you have seen the questions, most of the questions are pertaining to malignancy. There are very few questions which are related to what is called as benign lesions like phylloids, like ductal cell carcinoma in situ, fibroadenoma, etc. Most of the questions that come in are related to malignancy only. In fact, even in the entrances textbooks, if you see, if you take about 100 questions, nearly 80 of them are just about malignant lesions, and just few of them are into benign conditions. So here today we're going to discuss all insight about what can come in the breast as such. So starting off, we'll first start off with the anatomy per se. So they are these this the first every line that I'm putting up, that I'm quoting in this session, is an MCQ. Should be very careful, and every point that I'm saying is the previously asked MCQ. Kindly watch out. The questions that are asked right in the first line is mammary. It's a modified sweat gland or apocrine gland or mammary gland. Some there was once question that was asked, is it an eccrine gland? Some of them have asked modified. Uh, uh, there were so many questions that are asked on that, but it is considered a modified sweat or apocrine gland. That is, it is rudimentary in males, but is well developed in females after puberty. So the extent also is very much important. Also very important. Extent of the lesion is very important. Extent is extensive. Superficial fascia. Uh, Actually, the superficial. I want people to be silent.
Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet.
I want people to be silent, please. Thank you so much. Thank you, Harsha. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So going on.
No.
It's getting really difficult to talk when so many are speaking. Can the host
Yeah, I'm muting everyone. And if you have any doubts, you can ask in the chat box.
Yeah, that
because it is creating a lot of nuisance.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah, just wait for a while.
Right now, thank you. So moving on, it is actually, if you see, the superficial pectoral fascia is the one that splits and it encloses the breast tissue. Like if you see in this picture here, so here you have a fascia. This entire thing is the breast tissue. Here you have a pectoral fascia that comes in from medial and lateral side, and then it encloses the entire breast tissue, and then when you perform surgery for mastectomy, you are supposed to remove the pectoralis fascia over the pectoralis muscle. Only then it is considered as a complete mastectomy, because pectoralis fascia is the contains lymphatics which spread from the muscle, or would spread from the breast through the pectoralis major muscle and goes into the lymph nodes. So pectoralis fascia has to be removed when you're doing a modified radical mastectomy. And you know the vertical extent and horizontal extent, which you have been learning from almost your UG days. So second to sixth rib is the vertical extent, and horizontally from lateral border, just the lateral border of sternum to the mid axillary line. So this underlying stuff, what I've put up here, is another important MCQ. What are the muscles that form the floor of the breast tissue, or the breast tissue lies on which group of muscles? They are pectoralis minor, serratus anterior, and external oblique muscles. These are the important points that again I have to tell you here. And they're all formed by the it is formed by the deep pectoral fascia, which has to be removed, which I have just discussed. Apart from that, it is lying over these three muscles. Then when you see here, the upper part is the section of a rudimentary breast, a non-lactating breast, whereas the lower part is of a lactating breast, where you see there is enlarged follicles which contains the lobules and ductal unit all together, and these open through a lactocephalic duct which opens out at the level of the nipple. So how it does open and how it acts and all, we'll have a look at slowly about it in the next coming up slides. So here, if you see, we have the pectoralis minor muscle. I'm pointing at the marker, and you have the pectoralis major muscle. In between that, you have a fascia. You're supposed to remove, and you have lymphatics that go from the breast tissue through this muscle and goes into the lymph nodes. So you're supposed to remove the entire breast tissue along with this fascia. Only when you remove along with this fascia, it is considered as a complete resection. And there's what is called a submammary space. This is the plane on which we generally go in mastectomy, but no, you're supposed to remove even this pectoralis fascia over it. So when it comes to anatomy, these 8 points that I've put up here are the frequently asked questions that were asked quite a number of times. So when it comes to pectoralis major, the question that was asked, and the questions were asked were both on anatomical significance and also on the clinical significance. In the anatomical significance, it says it is the major muscle. What is the muscle that forms the major part of the breast? Posterior to the breast, answer was pectoralis major, and the lymphatics breast pierce and circumvent it. This is what we have just discussed. It is removed in radical mastectomy, but remember, it is not removed in any of the modified radical procedures. It is only removed in radical procedures. And axillary fascia is removed in MRM. Axillary fascia is what is called as investing fascia, which are again removed in MRM. We'll discuss when we are discussing about axillary lymph node. Okay, the anterior fascia that is removed. Pectoralis minor muscle. Pectoralis minor is a very important landmark. It divides the axilla into three axillary lymph nodes into three marks. Number one, it can be level 1, level 2, and level 3. You should know what is this staging called as, which we will come to know eventually. And important thing is, when you see Patty's mastectomy, it is removed from the origin. In Scanlon's, it is removed from the origin and sutured back. And Auchincloss, which is commonly done now, it is again, it is not removed, it is just retracted. Why it is done like this, we'll have a look into it when you come into the axillary dissection. Then serratus anterior is the muscle that forms the medial wall of the axilla, and it is responsible for winging of the scapula. This winging of the scapula was asked so many times, and which nerve it causes injury is the long thoracic nerve. You at least have about 20 to 25 questions asked in a different ways pertaining to that, and it's always confused with thoracodorsal pedicle. Thoracodorsal is latissimus dorsi. Thoracodorsal, dorsum is there, the word dorsi is there, so is there in latissimus dorsi. So that is for latissimus dorsi and not for serratus anterior. Kindly keep that in your mind. And latissimus dorsi forms the posterior water of the pedicle, and it continues and the fascia is continuous with the axillary fascia, which we will remove during surgery. And it forms an important border, that is the lateral border, we will see in the coming slides. So basically, when it comes to the muscle of the breast and all the breast related tissue, these are the previously asked MCQs. Hence, I put all of them in one single block so that you can know what are the points that you should remember. So if you divide the breast into the following quadrants, I think most of you know all these quadrants, so I'm just skipping this thing. And the axillary tail of Spence was the name given on scientist James Spence, which was not asked previously, and it forms the superior and outer quadrant of the breast. Remember, most common site where the breast tumor occurs is in the upper and outer quadrant. The reason why is because that area has got more amount of breast tissue when compared to the rest of the quadrants. So upper and outer, because it contains this axillary tail of Spence as an extra part,